Peace, brothers and sisters in humanity. Sorry about the voice, guys. I've been unwell for a while now, for about 10 days. This thing not letting me go. Anyway, one of the brothers is not sure about the salat, if it's actually physical or not. He gave me this verse to try and basically talk about this verse, because this verse, and it's not just him, a lot of people, this verse is holding them up, because they think this is exactly what it means to do ritual prayer. So I'm going to go through it. As I said, sorry about the voice, guys. It's just I'm not well, but I had to do this just in case, eh? You never know. So we go this verse. Anyone else has a verse that thinks this? Because I can't do like Brother X, like all of them in one video is going to be too long. So if you think there's any verse that means it's a ritual prayer for you, just give me that verse. Don't give me 200 verses. We just go through them verse by verse. And then any sujud, any ruku', whatever, right? You put it down one verse at a time so I can go through them one by one. Okay, let's listen, right?
وليأخذوا حذرهم وأسلحتهم ود الذين كفروا لو تغفلون عن أسلحتكم وأمتعتكم فيميلون عليكم ميلة واحدة ولا جناح عليكم إن كان بكم أذى من مطر أو كنتم مرضى أن تضعوا أسلحتكم وخذوا حذركم إن الله أعد للكافرين عذابا مهينا فإذا قضيتم الصلاة فاذكروا الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبكم فإذا اطمأننتم فأقيموا الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا
Okay, let's stop here. So from this video, you can tell how the Sunni explained it. This verse is to do with war. So when they're at war, they have to do a ritual prayer, and basically that's what it is, yeah. This is in verse, or this is in Ayah, chapter 4, Ayah 102. Okay, but we're not going to start from that because you're going to lose a lot of context. You understand what it's about if you go back 2 verses. Let's go back 2 verses. Let's start from verse chapter 4, Ayah 100. Okay? وَمَنْ يُهَاجِرْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ يَجِدْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُرَاغَمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعَةً ومن يخرج من بيته مهاجرا إلى الله ثم يدركه الموت فقد وقع أجره على الله وكان الله غفورا رحيما. Anyone who immigrates in the cause of Allah will find on earth great richness. Rewards, yeah, not richness. Anyone who leave his home, immigrate into Allah and His Messenger, then death catches up with him. His recompense is reserved with Allah, and Allah is forgiver, most merciful. As you can see in this verse, it's not talking about war. It's not talking about fighting at all, okay? But the verse after that will explain it, which is verse 101. I mean, to immigrate for the sake of Allah is nothing to do with going to war, alright? Because in Islam, there's no going somewhere to open a land or to take over land, right? So these people are immigrating for the sake of Allah to do what? Let's read in the next verse, yeah? Next ayah is 101. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ وإن خفتم أن يفتنكم الذين كفروا إن الكافرين كانوا لكم عدوا مبينا. Okay, when you trouble, you commit no error by shortening your salat, if you fear that the disbelievers may cause you problems. Surely the disbelievers are your clear enemy. Right. So every time the Quran uses the word zarabtum, and if you understand that, this is actually this verse 101. You have to be very careful, yeah. The verse 101 is just talking in general, yeah, right. And verse ayah 101 is talking general as well. It's talking to the believers, right. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, when you travel, talking about everyone, yeah, everyone here, talking about the believers, yeah. And every time, right, that word is used as ضربتم في الأرض, it doesn't mean you travel. I mean, you do like you travel for the sake of I mean, like a tourist. No, ضربتم في الأرض is always is to do da'wah, right? And I know, and you understand why in a minute, yeah. These two verses will explain to you what the third verse is about, which is 102. وَإِن كُنْتَ فِيهِمْ, okay, let me translate it later. وَإِن كُنْتَ, so the verse before that one is talking to the whole believers, right? But this verse here is for the Prophet. He's talking to the Prophet, right? He's talking to the Prophet. It's giving instructions to the Prophet here, okay? The verse before it for everyone. So if everyone goes out there for the cause of Allah to spread the words, right? He told them what to do. And now this verse here is talking to the Prophet. وإذ كنت فيهم فأقمت لهم الصلاة فلتقم طائفة منهم معك وليأخذوا أسلحتهم فإذا سجدوا فليكونوا من ورائكم ولتأتي طائفة أخرى لم يصلوا فليصلوا معك وليأخذوا حذرهم وأسلحتهم ود الذين كفروا لو تغفلون عن أسلحتكم وأمتعتكم فيميلون عليكم ميلة واحدة ولا جناح عليكم إن كان بكم أذى من مطر أو كنتم مرضى أن تضعوا أسلحتكم وخذوا حذركم إن الله أعد للكافرين عذابا مهينا. Less, because in the translation, right, is to do with war. For some reason, I don't know. They actually switched it to war, and it has nothing to do with war. Okay, clearly. When you are with them, who's who? Who's he? The Prophet, right? And done the salat to them, right? To them. He's not even included in this. He's not even included. He does the salat to them, okay? Let a group of them come forward, holding their weapons and provisions with them. And once they do the sujood, فَإِذَا سَجَدُوا, right, that does not include the Prophet either. And what would it say if this was a prayer, like a ritual prayer, right? It means no sense. فَإِذَا سَجَدُوا, no, it doesn't work. That sujood is not the end of the prayer, is it? In a ritual prayer, it's not. It's the salam, innit? When you salam. So if this is talking about ritual prayer, it said فَإِذَا سَلَّمُوا or سَلَّمُوا, yeah, and carry on. But this is sajadu, right? And sajadu means, right, let's carry on, and we go back to it. I like that. I like doing that. I need to go back to it. When they do the sujood, let them stand behind you. Then let the other group that they did not do the salat with you to come forward and be vigilant and carry their weapons. Those who disbelieved wish to see you neglect your weapons and provisions in order to attack you once and for all. You commit no error if you are exhausted. Not, when he said rain poured on you or something. First of all, matar, right, it's not rain in Arabic. It's not rain in the Quran. It's not rain. Rain is water. وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ الْمَاءِ مَاءً. He didn't say what mataran. Allah never called rain matar. Right? Matar is when things happen consistently, like something like amtarna alayhim, like something keeps happening, right? Falling down, but it's not rain. All right, it's not rain. It's not rain in the Quran is water. Okay. So I said you're exhausted. It's something that like makes you weak, right? And I'm thinking here it's exhaustion, right? Or sick. I mean, I don't see the point, right? If you're carrying a weapon and it's raining on you, yeah, why would you need to put a weapon down? Does it really affect you? Rain does not affect you to carry something. It really doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? The problem is, it's like how do you do praying when it's raining, proper raining? Do you know what I mean? How do you do that? If anything, but let's carry on because we're gonna go back to it. Or sick by putting down your weapons. Remain alert. Alert. Allah has prepared for the disbelievers a shameful retribution. So let's go back to the verse and read it again. All right? Will make sense. We stop, yeah? So you understand exactly what it means. When you are with them, so if you're with them and you've done the salat to them, okay, to them, right? Let a group, so this group, right, the first group has to come forward near the Prophet and they need to carry their weapons and provisions, okay? And when this group, right, do the sujood, which in the Quran means they heard what the Prophet said and they obeyed, okay? That's what it means, right? So they heard what the Prophet said, okay, and they obeyed. So when this group understood, like they say, Roger, right, they have to go behind you for a second group that they haven't heard what he has to say to come forward and bring their weapons and provisions with them. So basically, the first group is actually being protected by the second group. When the second group comes forward to the Prophet to hear what the Prophet has to say, the first group has to go back and cover them. So protecting them. You understand that? This is it. Protect their back while the Prophet is doing the salat to the second group. You understand that? And obviously, when they finished, so the second group didn't pray with. They have to come forward and bring their weapons, because if you ignore your if you're not vigilant about your weapons, the disbelievers wish to see you neglect your weapons and provisions in order to attack you once and for all. You commit no error if you are exhausted. Always say exhausted. Something. Ada in the Quran, it's always something. I don't know. It's always something like not physical, right? Not physical. So it could be physical, but not like a cut or blood or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Ever. It's nothing to do with sickness or nothing to do with something. Someone like bleeding or hurt or injured or anything like that. Okay, but it is part physical. Okay. That's why he said to put your weapons, obviously, yeah? So, what we get from here, honestly, what we get from here. So, let's talk about this salat here. What's the Prophet has to do, right? So, these people traveled for the cause of Allah. And God gave them instructions. And then said, if you go out with these people, right, who go for the cause of Allah to do da'wah, right, you have to give them instructions. If there is verses from the Quran, right, to tell them, new verses to tell them. If not, they have to have a plan, because there's a group of them and they're all capable of doing da'wah. So the Prophet here is just giving them instructions, right, what to do, okay, how to be careful, how to do da'wah, how to do this, giving them advice, a plan how to do this da'wah, okay. And then the first group will hear him, right. The second group, the first group come forward. The second group, they haven't prayed yet with him. They haven't heard his instructions. They go and protect him. When the first group obeyed, heard the plan, heard everything, so they have go back to the back. So the second group can come back and hear what the Prophet has to say, because they have to protect themselves, because they have enemies. Okay? He said it on verse 101, and he said it to the Prophet here. He's given instructions to the Prophet to what to do when he's with them. And when he's not with them, go back to verse 101. Simple. Here, it's nothing to do with physical prayer. Here, people are going to do da'wah, and the Prophet is with them. So his instructions, giving them instructions. Salat means everything, means a lot of things. It's connection, and it has a lot of meanings. This one here is, what I see is instructions, okay? Because so the first group had to do sujood. For this first group to do the sujood, but the Prophet is not doing the sujood with them, is it? They're doing the sujood to him. He's not doing any sujood here. And if this is, let's say, a physical prayer, so here the Prophet has to do, let's say, Isha, yeah? Let's say Salat Isha here, yeah? It has to do the Isha twice. So none of the others can pray a physical prayer with a group except the Prophet when he's with them. So the Prophet has to do 2 Isha or 2 Asr, whenever the time it was there, or 2 Dhuhr. The Prophet has to keep praying. See, if there's about 2 million people, the Prophet has to pray with all of them. Do you know what I mean? So he has to do 10 or 20 or 30 per prayers. Makes no sense. It just doesn't make no sense if this is. We're going to go further. We're going to go further on that. Okay? Go to verse 103. فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمُ الصَّلَاةِ. Now, فاذكروا الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنبكم فإذا اطمأننتم فأقيموا الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. Once you finish the salat, right? When you finish the salat, this is it. Okay? You shall remember Allah while standing, sitting, or lying down. And when you feel safe, do the salat. The salat to the believers is a time book. So they were praying, and then when they finish praying, they have to remember Allah and then do the salat again. If these people were at war, right, you can't keep doing salat, man. You get killed so quick. I don't know, I've seen the Vikings once. The Vikings, has anyone seen the Vikings? Right? They went to Spain when there was a Muslim tribe there, and the Vikings came in, and this lot were praying. Right? So the Vikings are, like burning stuff and killing everyone, and this lot did not stop the prayer, the ritual prayer, until the Vikings came inside the mosque and killed them one by one. Right? While they're actually doing physical prayer, ritual prayer, right? And they said, oh, because they're believers. No, they're stupid. They're dumb. That's dumb. That is really dumb. So I'm doing the ritual prayer. Someone coming to me with a knife. Now Allah will protect me. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does this mean? It's nothing to do with beliefs. It's stupidity. Do you know what I mean? So here, you can't be doing the salat again. So let's go back then. When you finish the salat with the Prophet, now it's done. That salat is done with the Prophet, yeah? Now he's talking to everyone here, to the believers. You shall remember Allah while standing, sitting, or lying down. And if you feel safe, okay, go back to verse 101. Verse 101. He said, when you travel, you commit no error by shortening your salat, right? If you feel that the disbelievers may cause you problems. So here, Allah said, when you feel safe and there's no enemies around you, you can do the salat. Do what? Do the salat what? Or observe the salat. What is the salat here? So once you finish your salat, your connection with the Prophet, alright, you remember Allah while you're standing, sitting, or laying down. And when you feel safe, do the salat. That means every one of these people have to go, when they feel safe, have to go and do da'wah. They don't have to go 30 people all in the same spot doing da'wah, do they? So everyone will, go to a house, go to a market, go somewhere, so he can do the da'wah by himself. Do you know what I mean? That's what it means. When there is no enemies about, because not anywhere they went, right? He's not talking what land it is. He's talking here about the believers going to do dawah, and the Prophet is with them. So when they feel safe, they can do the dawah, which is upholding or spreading the words of Allah. Do dawah. Basically, that's what it is. And then the end, the salat to the believers is a timed book. The Quran said, Kitabun mawquta. It didn't, that means everything is timed, right? This dawah is timed, okay? That's all he's saying. It's not saying specific times. It's not doing anything. It's a timed book. Kitaban mawquta is a timed book. So this salat here is timed. That's all. It's a timed book. You can say however you want, but this has got nothing to do with Asr, Maghrib, Isha. It's nothing to do with that, because these verses have nothing to do with ritual prayers at all. Not from the start to the end. And this is not about war. This is about doing dawah, right? Because not everything is about killing. We don't travel to kill people, you see. Islam, the Quran never tells you to travel to kill people for the cause of Allah. Do you know what I'm saying? Never said that. Quran never asks you to shed blood. The Quran is the last thing that the Quran asks you to shed blood, to do is shed blood. Even your enemy, try not to kill him. Try to catch him alive. Do you know what I mean? Even your enemies. Your last resource is to shed blood. When you've got no other options, is to kill someone. Because you can actually help that someone. If you can help him, right, see the light, that is our mission in life. This is our mission as Muslims. Right? Even that bird person, right? If you can save his life, save his life. Because you never know. He might be guided one day. So don't stop his life, right, unless you have to. This is the Quran. It's not me talking, it's the Quran. So Allah here in these verses is not talking about us going to Afghanistan or going to Iraq or going to, you know what I mean, open a new land somewhere, do you know what I mean, for the cause of Allah. It's to do with dawah. Because the Prophet was down here to spread the word, not to to make people believe with a sword. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this video, yeah, you watched at the beginning, it tells you how they think. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're at war, you've got enemies, but you do the praying. You do the ritual prayer, and then you can't stop it. Well, you have to carry on. Doesn't matter. That's what they said in their books. It's not me, it's their books. But this guy, even the new sect believe that this is, all right? Tell them how to explain this verse, all right? Just this 3-4 verses. Go to them, all right, and tell them how do you get ritual prayer from these 4 verses? How do you get it? Because I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? I can see it. The new sect, they say they believe only in the Quran, but I don't know. They don't. I'm sorry, but they don't. Right? Tell them to explain this. Give them their own explanation without talking too much, without putting words into the Quran, adding things into the Quran. Right? Trying to explain this, explain that. If you read it into context, you get the whole story. You get the full story. But if you use the whole verses, though, they're talking about the same subject, though. You don't just get verse 102 and trying to explain it. It's not. It's actually a ritual prayer, because it's not. It's not. It can't be. Do you know what I mean? It just can't be. I can't see anything here to do with ritual prayer. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Any critics, please, welcome. Tell me what I've gone wrong, please. Right? And if I added anything. Listen, I do this without editing, without really top of my head. Alright, so if I say the wrong word, it's possible. To be honest, it's possible. If I say a wrong name, possible. I'm only human. Do you know what I mean? And I don't even watch my videos. I just send them straight. So let me know. Let me know what you think. And any other verse you think is to do with the ritual prayer, please let's talk about it. Peace out.